Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers and listeners, Assalamu alaikum. I have introduced this segment to address critical questions that may be of interest to mankind. The written contents of these videos are available on my website quranwisdom.com in Q&A section. Each video will be short and focused on a specific question only. Today's question is interest and riba similar? Probably one of the greatest controversies that has baffled followers of Islamic faith is the question, is interest and riba similar? Before we examine this question in the light of relevant verses of the glorious Quran, it is pertinent to understand the etymological meaning of these two terms. Historically speaking, the concept of interest was developed in trading and economics as a compensation for loss or damage. In economics, interest is defined as a reward or cost of factor capital. Similarly, usury was considered as excessive interest in lending transactions. In Arabic, the equivalent word for usury is riba, that was prevalent amongst Arabs before the advent of Islam, implying excess or growth. So the etymology of two words is quite different. Interest was conceived to be a compensation for loss or damage, while riba was conceived to be excess or growth. Then the question arises, how come that some Muslim scholars start equating interest with riba? The simple answer is that perhaps it may be the outcome of poor understanding of relevant verses of glorious Quran and the subject of economics on the part of those Muslim scholars. Anyway, let us examine the concept of riba as explained in the glorious Quran. Verse 130 of chapter 3 provides the precise definition of riba as it is ordained by the Lord of the universe. It reads, "You who believe, do not consume riba, doubled and redoubled. Be mindful of God so that you may prosper." This verse is the cornerstone for understanding the concept of riba. It explicitly highlights the key feature of riba as any monetary gain that results in doubling or redoubling of one's wealth at somebody else's expense. So if a lender charges an exorbitant interest on a loan transaction to double or redouble his wealth, he is guilty of the sin of riba. Similarly, if a trader charges exorbitant price for his goods and services to double and redouble his wealth, he is also guilty of the commission of sin of riba. And this principle will apply to all monetary transactions and occurrences that result in multiplying one's wealth many times over at the expense of another party. Therefore, the distinct feature of riba is that it is present in all exploitative transactions and dealing amongst mankind where one party's wealth is unjustly consumed by the other party. There could be numerous examples of transactions and dealings in real life where riba is practiced with impunity, but no Muslim scholar ever highlights it. On another occasion, the practice of riba is highlighted in a trade in verse 29 of chapter 4 in the following words, "You who believe, do not wrongfully consume each other's wealth, but trade by mutual consent." This verse further corroborates the fact that riba may be present in trading where either the buyer or the seller unjustly makes a bargain with the intention of wrongfully consuming others' wealth. Suppose a merchant is selling a product at an exorbitant price of, say, $500 when other merchants are selling the identical item for, say, $200. In this case, the excess of $300 charged by this merchant is riba and a great sin in the sight of God. The practice of charging normal interest in a business loan transaction is explained in verse 279 of chapter 2 in the following words, "If you repent, you may retain your principal, suffering no loss and causing loss to none." This verse categorically allows a person to get back his principal amount with the same purchasing power as it was at the time of lending money so that neither the borrower nor the lender may suffer a monetary loss. Therefore, if the normal interest charged by the lender is about equal to the rate of inflation during the tenure of the loan, it is not riba. If money is borrowed by a large corporation for business purposes or by an individual for building an asset like a mortgage, the riba may be altogether absent. However, these topics are reserved for my other monologues about riba. If you are interested to have a thorough understanding of the concept of riba and its application in the modern world, then you may listen to my 4 monologues uploaded few years ago on my YouTube channel. To sum up this monologue, the following points are important to remember. 1. Interest is not always riba. It becomes riba when it is exploitative and exorbitant in nature, such as charged by Jews and Hindus in the past when the borrower could not pay back a personal loan in his life due to exorbitant interest element in it. 2. Profits of a trade are riba when they are exorbitant and excessive in nature, such as abnormal profits charged by a monopolist. 3. The debentures issued by a large corporation and mortgage offered by a financial institution are free from riba. I conclude my monologue on the topic, is interest and riba similar, with the prayer that Allah Almighty may bless this effort and enable us to apply reason and seek guidance only from the glorious Quran in all matters of life. Please subscribe and share my channel for promoting teachings of glorious Quran to the mankind. May Allah reward your effort. Ameen.